The sun dips low, casting long amber shadows across the desolate hillside of Bethsaida. 5,000 people sit on the parched grass, their faces etched with weariness and hunger. Jesus stands atop a small rise, his silhouette framed against the fading, golden light. He has just heard the heavy news of John the Baptist's tragic, untimely death. Seeking solitude, he retreated here, but the persistent crowd followed him on foot. They seek healing for their ailments and truth for their wandering, restless souls. Jesus looks out over the vast, waiting multitude with eyes full of deep compassion. The disciples gather near him, whispering urgently as the evening shadows grow longer. They gesture toward the horizon, worried about the lack of resources in this remote place. The disciples urge Jesus to send the people away to find food in nearby villages. Jesus turns to them, his expression calm yet challenging in the cooling air. He speaks softly, telling them the people do not need to depart at all. He commands the disciples to provide food for the multitude themselves, surprising them all. The disciples exchange confused glances, looking at their empty hands and the vast crowd. Andrew steps forward, holding a small woven basket containing a meager, humble offering. He presents 5 small barley loaves and 2 dried fish to Jesus. The food looks woefully insufficient against the backdrop of thousands of hungry people. Jesus takes the bread and fish, his hands steady and his movements deliberate. The disciples watch, waiting to see how he will address this impossible situation. A hush falls over the hillside as the people sense something profound is approaching. Jesus lifts his eyes toward the vast, darkening sky, connecting with the divine. The wind rustles through the grass, carrying the scent of dust and anticipation. He begins to bless the food, his voice carrying clearly over the silent crowd. The meager offering seems to glow under his touch, defying the logic of scarcity. He breaks the first loaf, and the sound of the crust snapping echoes softly. He hands pieces to the disciples, who stand frozen in a moment of wonder. The disciples begin to walk among the seated rows, their baskets suddenly feeling heavy. As they distribute the bread, it never seems to diminish in their hands. A woman reaches out, taking a piece of bread with trembling, grateful fingers. A man shares the fish with his neighbor, both eyes wide with disbelief. The miracle unfolds in silence, a quiet multiplication that defies all human understanding. Children laugh as they are fed, their hunger replaced by sudden, joyful satisfaction. The disciples move faster now, their initial doubt replaced by a growing, holy awe. Jesus watches the scene, his heart full as he witnesses the community being sustained. The sun has vanished, replaced by a blanket of stars above the hillside. Every person eats until they are fully satisfied, the hunger pains finally fading away. The atmosphere shifts from desperation to a profound sense of peace and abundance. Jesus signals the disciples to gather the fragments that remain on the ground. They move through the rows, collecting the leftovers with careful, reverent hands. One basket is filled, then another, stacking up in the dark. 12 baskets in total are gathered, overflowing with the miraculous remaining bread. The disciples look at the baskets, then back at Jesus, speechless and changed. The crowd begins to whisper, realizing they have witnessed a sign of divine power. This event proves that nothing is impossible when placed in the Savior's hands. It is not just about physical food, but about the spiritual abundance provided here. The scarcity of the day has been transformed into a glorious, overflowing miracle. The people look at Jesus, their understanding of faith forever altered by this night. They realize that reliance on the divine is the true source of their strength. The hillside, once desolate, now feels like a place of sacred, eternal provision. Jesus walks away into the night, leaving the crowd in a state of wonder. The disciples follow him, carrying the 12 baskets as a testament to the miracle. This story remains a timeless reminder of compassion for all who hear it. Trust in his provision, even when your own resources feel small and insufficient. When you offer what little you have, he can multiply it for others. The miracle at Bethsaida continues to inspire faith in our modern, busy world. Reflect on this account and find hope in his power to sustain you. His compassion knows no bounds, reaching out to every hungry soul today. May this narrative touch your heart and strengthen your own walk of faith. The darkness of the hillside is now illuminated by the light of truth. A new understanding of divine provision dawns, just as the morning will soon. Jesus stands before the vast, expectant crowd on the hillside. He takes the 5 loaves and 2 fish from a disciple. The small basket looks insignificant against the thousands of hungry faces. Jesus lifts his eyes toward the darkening sky. He offers a prayer of profound gratitude to the Father. His hands steady the bread as he begins to break it. A soft, golden light seems to emanate from his steady hands. He hands a piece of bread to a nearby disciple. The disciple stares in disbelief at the bread in his palms. Jesus continues to break the loaves with calm, deliberate grace. The disciples begin to move through the rows of seated people. A young boy watches, his eyes wide with wonder. The bread never seems to diminish in the disciples' baskets. People reach out, their hands trembling as they receive the food. A woman takes a piece and shares it with her children. The murmurs of the crowd turn into hushed, reverent whispers. Every person on the hillside receives a portion to eat. The fish too multiply as they are passed from hand to hand. The atmosphere shifts from desperate hunger to peaceful satisfaction. Jesus watches the people, his expression filled with deep compassion. The sun sets, casting long, dramatic shadows across the grass. 5,000 souls are now nourished by the divine provision. The disciples return to Jesus, their baskets still heavy. Jesus instructs them to gather the remaining fragments. They walk among the people, collecting the leftovers carefully. 12 baskets are filled to the brim with bread and fish. The disciples look at the baskets, stunned by the abundance. The miracle is complete, defying all human logic. The crowd begins to realize the magnitude of what occurred. They look at Jesus with newfound awe and recognition. This was not just physical food, but a spiritual awakening. Scarcity has been transformed into an overflowing divine gift. The people stand, their hearts full and their hunger gone. Jesus turns to look out over the quiet, satisfied multitude. He knows this moment will change their lives forever. The disciples stand in a circle, reflecting on the day. Their understanding of faith is deepening in this moment. Trust in the Savior is now etched into their souls. The hillside remains a silent witness to the miracle. Jesus walks slowly away, seeking a moment of prayer. The stars begin to appear in the darkening desert sky. The memory of this day will echo through generations. We are reminded that our small offerings hold great power. God multiplies our efforts when we surrender them to Him. Compassion is the bridge between human need and divine grace. Reflect on this abundance in your own life today. Trust that He provides for your greatest hours of need. Let this ancient wisdom guide your modern journey forward. The story of Bethsaida remains a beacon of hope. Subscribe to carry this message of faith further. Share this narrative to inspire others in their walk. The miracle is not just in the past, but present. Believe in the overflow that comes from His hand. The hillside grows quiet as the people depart. Their lives are forever marked by His gentle power. The 12 baskets sit as a testament to grace. Nothing is impossible when placed in His care. Find peace in the promise of His constant provision. The moon rises over the desolate, blessed landscape. The miracle at Bethsaida lives on in our hearts.